Hey folks, Jonathan here. Uh, of course, in this world we live in, of who's next, uh, Vic Edelbrock Jr. passed away, and uh, and I'm not going to go into any details of the history on him. There's plenty of that online, and him and his dad. Uh, but I just wanted to tell you my story, and you know, it's sort of two stories, but I mean it starts. I used to work for a company called Magneti Morelli, and I've actually remanufactured carburetors. And this is not rebuilding carburetors. This is a little more into it when you start doing the throttle shaft bushings and all the work, and then you flow test it, and before you send it out to the parts store. And when I was working there, I was lucky enough to be there at a time when Vic Edelbrock had decided to do the three deuce intake. It was sort of a recreation of the old three deuce, 3.2 barrels, and of course they didn't make new carburetors for them, and it was my job to sort of locate the two jet carburetors, which was the early model small ones, and help get them ready. And I actually got to do a little bit of the flow testing and playing with them. And I was actually working with two engineers there. And don't get me wrong, I wasn't an engineer. I was just a grunt. But engineers, well, not all engineers, but the engineers that were there were more technical and into the book part of it. And so they actually, I don't know how to put it, but I mean, they would listen to some of my advice, let's put it that way. And they did have a little bit of respect for me. But anyway, I didn't ever get to meet him in any way, but I mean, I always enjoyed the fact that I was working on stuff for him. Now, Magneti Morelli was in the division I worked for was called TGI. And anyway, what had ended up happening, of course, it was Italian owned, and I think it's actually the same company that owns Fiat. But they made Carter carburetors. They started out as Carter Weber, and the old Thermoquas, the old Carter AFBs, and later on the Edelbrock is a Carter AFB. And it was made with the same tooling that the AFB was made with at the same factory. And the Edelbrock carburetor was something that was brought back by Vic Edelbrock, or Vic Edelbrock Jr. And it ended up because Magneti Morelli now only does fuel injection systems. They build no carburetors whatsoever. But Vic bought all the tooling and all the equipment and kept the factory here in Sanford. And there's still a lot of people around here that works for Edelbrock, and he was a good man. But the story that I really wanted to get to, that really showed me what kind of person he was. I was lucky enough when my son graduated high school, and here in North Carolina you got to have a senior project. And when I say I was lucky because he had some friends that either didn't have a father, or did around, or their dad didn't have the type of skills that they wanted for whatever particular senior project they were doing. So I ended up doing 5 senior projects, and for my son, of course, and four other kids. And a senior project here in North Carolina, you had to pick what you wanted to do, and it didn't matter what it was. My son actually picked to build a small block Chevrolet engine, and one of the boys, a friend of mine's son, actually wanted to do a remote control 3-wheel bicycle, so we actually built it and fully remote control, and drove it all around the driveway here and stuff. But my son, when you do the senior project, you've got to write some letters. And he actually wrote a letter to Vic Edelbrock just to tell him what he was doing, and senior project, building a small block Chevrolet engine. Wasn't asking for anything. And he luckily, out of nowhere, got a phone call. And it was actually Vic Edelbrock's secretary that called and told my son that Vic Edelbrock wanted to talk to him. And anyway, my son got on the phone and Vic Edelbrock told him, he said, look, the first thing I want to do is just tell you that I appreciate the fact that you're building a small block Chevrolet engine and not one of these, and I'll quote, these damn ricers. And he actually told him, he said, I'm going to go ahead and send you a brand new carburetor and a brand new intake. And he transferred it back to the secretary and got our address and actually sent that stuff to my son. And didn't have to pay shipping, didn't have to pay anything. And anyway, that's what kind of person he was. A good person. He believed in everything being made in the United States. He used the United States, aluminum and just everything, was USA. And if you notice on their boxes, they have "Made in USA" on it. So, and I'm hoping that his daughter Cammie, which is, everything I've seen is following right in his footsteps. I'm hoping that she will go through and, keep things going just like it was. And it's a shame, but like I said, it's not who, it's who's next. And anyway, appreciate you listening, appreciate you watching, and till next time, bye.